Hey, all you Raising Ash trainers out there. We have a great game going with my son here, and they're going to play Seismitoad Tina versus Mewtwo. And we'll go ahead and talk about this deck a little bit because I know for children it's very, and it's sort of one of those. My son used to play this deck too. He played it all last year and the year before. So the Giritinia Toad deck is one of those really sort of agitating decks that kids sort of get flustered with very quickly. It's really nice to play. This child here had a great build. It was a really cool of him. He said, "Hey, Raising Ash, do you mind if I get on camera?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I brought my son over to play against him. So it was really cool that he knew he was out, so who we were, and big shout out to him. Um, but he is playing a deck that when children play against, they get flustered pretty quickly against it. Um, and so what I want to talk about too a little bit as they're playing this is how to sort of maneuver your way around the Garrotini Toad deck. About it. So as I was watching my son play a little bit, I saw some moves he could have made and didn't make. So what we have here going on, he's going to go ahead and uh, DDE his Latios. Now Latios is a great card. It's a great move to put in the deck. What it actually allows you to do is do that 40 quick damage to it. And when you create that with a muscle band, you can knock out a combi. You can get a really one hit kill real quick, win the game. You basically donk them on the second turn. So it's a great pick by the opponent to play that. He's going to play down the Sycamore, and he's going to go ahead and draw 7 cards. Now getting that 7 cards is a pretty massive play. Or you just drew up the 7. Okay, he didn't play the Sycamore. He played the Shauna instead. I thought he was going to play the Sycamore. He's going to play the Shauna instead, pick up 5 more cards. So what he wants to do is he wants to get some cards in his hand, play that Shauna up, see if we can put down a muscle band on that, maybe put a little pressure on Mewtwo. And he's going to put down 5 cards. Looks like he's going to go ahead and play the muscle band on the Toad. I'm not sure where that Sycamore came from. It looks like it was off the trainer's mail, so he picked up the trainer's mail, got the Sycamore out, and now it's my son's turn. So on Toad decks, what you really want to do is you sort of want to be aggressive with your items. You want to play out as many items as you can. My son's playing some new cards, so we're testing these cards out. And what you want to start out with is trying to build up your bench. Now with Garrotini on the trying to build up some energy on your bench. With Garrotini on the floor, you actually do not want a mega. And the reason why you don't want a mega with a Garrotini on the floor is because Garrotini blocks mega hits. So it's actually the best thing you can possibly do is my son could possibly do is go ahead and build up energy on that Mewtwo and just play the Mewtwo with the normal damage exchange. It'll come down to the crushing hammers on whether he can whether the opponent can hit him as long as he keeps the Mewtwo on his bench. Now, if he cannot keep the Mewtwo on its bench, it's what'll happen is, and he goes ahead and Spirit Links him, which is good. He wants to save the head ringer. He's going to play that max elixir. He's going to attach again. And now he's got 2 energies on it. So it really puts a lot of pressure because the opponent has already discarded an energy on it. So right now he's playing it pretty well. Pretty much how you want to be playing against the Giritinia Toad deck. Looks through his deck. He's going to Ultra Ball, Super Rod, and the Lysander. I can't see what's in his hand, so I can't tell about his plays. Sometimes we play a lot open hand. I don't know if there's any dads out there watching me, but we do play a lot of open hands, and when we're playing a lot of open hands, we actually do work on what moves you can make. Now, grabbing the Mewtwo is actually not the wisest play at this time. You actually can get, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and just retreat back your already basic Mewtwo. On the next turn. Not this turn, but on the next turn, he'd want to retreat back his basic Mewtwo. Because you do not want to evolve that Mewtwo. Actually, the worst possible thing you can do is just evolve the Mewtwo. What you actually want to do is you want to play damage exchange with him. So he's going to go ahead and wisely put down the DCE, roll ahead on the... there you go. He's going to roll heads on the Crushing Hammer, play up his Sycamore, and take another 7. And so right now he needs to get to the damage exchange. And the opponent's burned through about 2 Crushing Hammers, I believe. So what he needs to do is go ahead and put down energy. And the worst possible thing he can actually do, you can try and get down energy. And this is why you want to keep that Mew. This was the worst possible thing he could do, is he actually evolved into Mega Mewtwo. The reason why that's a bad play is because he knows the Giritini's on the bench. And the reason why you didn't want to retreat back that first Mewtwo was basically because you want to keep using Max Elixir on the benched Mewtwo. And you just sort of, at that point, you want to float stone the Mewtwo out. So it's a different play style. Now, my son's going to pick up Pokemon Central. And what he really needs to get to at this point is a Zora. And I'm not sure if Zora was prized or not prized, but he should have done a Shaman and a Zora. And once he gets to that Zora, he can really start putting a lot of pressure on them. But what he's doing right now is he's going for the quick attack. And that honestly this is a slow and steady deck. So what you don't want to do is attack too quickly. So you have a different play style when you're playing against every deck. You can't play the decks the same way each time. Based off what your opponent has in his deck is how you have to use your deck. So in this sort of matchup, you actually want to stay with your basic Pokemon and with your stage 1s, your Zoras and Zoroarks. Those are the ones that are actually going to put a lot of pressure on you. Toad won't put a lot of pressure on the actual Mewtwo because it's only going to be able to do 50 points of damage. And then you play out slowly. Eventually you'll start hitting those energies and you start charging up a Pokemon very with a lot of energies on it, just too much they can't handle. So the reason why it was bad that he went Mega is because now he can't hit him. Now if my son would have stayed as a Mewtwo, the max amount of damage Giritinia can do is 120. So he'll be doing 160 to my son on the turn. Now, if he would have been able to get that energy drop on the next turn, which was he had the actual energy in his hand, what he could have done is damage exchanged him. Now, the child unfortunately played a head ringer on him, but he actually can't play that head ringer on him because my son actually has the Spirit Link. And this is going back to paying attention to the game. My son's at this point not paying attention to the game. I can already tell that he's looking at Giritinia and realized he has made the mistake of playing that. Now he's going to play down the damage. Now that's going to be a 160 hit. Now Mewtwo will survive that because he's a 170 card. Mega Mewtwo definitely survives it, but you can't hit with him. So the opportunity here of playing him is really a shame. You actually don't want to play your Mega Mewtwo's when you see the Giritini and the Toad come down. What you want to do is charge up and play the damage exchange with your Zoras as as your um as your backup hitters. Now Zora's is a 2 charge hitter, and he actually had the energy in it. And if he would have been paying attention, he could have told the opponent that he couldn't headringer him because he already had the spirit link on him. And then just played the energy down. And then if he had the regular Mewtwo going, he would have been able to do damage exchange back on the Giritini for 160. Now that would have knocked the Giritini would have done another 120 on him. He would have had to bring up the Toad, which would have knocked the Mewtwo out. But if he had another Mewtwo on his bench set to go, that would have been able to give him more of the advantage in the game because the bench was getting full for him. So he would have had to get another Giritini out and dig for the DDEs. So because my son at this point is playing his megas and wants to use his megas like most children do, he is actually hurting himself using the megas. And so the control goes back to the other player at this point. And so again, you have to be careful when you're playing the Giritinia Toads because you have to play a different style of game. He's going to wisely put down the DDE, which I thought was a great one, onto the Seismitoad. He's going to hit again, and he knows my son can't hit him back at this point. It's a great play by the player. He's played the Giratina, he saw the Mega come out, and he went ahead and played it, and it was a fantastic play. Right now, my son is just getting outplayed by the player. He doesn't have the answer for the Giratina. And what's funny about that is that he does have the answer for the Giratina, but he's so used to the play style. So the play style generally works on 90% of the decks, but on certain decks you have to change your play style in order to sort of outplay the opponent. So this was a great move by the opponent. My son still puts down a Spirit Link, which is wise because he doesn't want to get head-ringered onto the Mewtwo. And what he should have done is seen if he could dig for an energy drop. He's going to try and do a max elixir and look through it. And now, see, since he dropped his last energy with the Misty, I don't know why he dropped it because can't see why the other 4 cards he doesn't have it. He can't take the Misty out. He's going to play it back. Cut the deck. Yeah, if you don't have it, yeah, there you go. All right, now he played that right. So it doesn't look like he hit the energy off the max elixir. He actually discarded an energy into his deck. He probably could have held on to it. I hope the child, I gotta look through my son's deck. I hope he gave him back his head ringers there. So he's going to go ahead and play the town map. That's an interesting card for that deck. It does look like he has a second Headringer prize. He's going to play the DDE onto... He should be taking up 2 more prizes. It should be 2 to 6. And I think my son's going to call the game at this point. So these are what's great about these videos is that you can sort of see based off of how your playstyle needs to change when you're playing different decks. Me and my son have gone over this video and I've started to explain the different playstyles when you're playing different decks. And he's going to Sycamore out. He really wants the energy drop. But I think he already played a supporter for the round. I think the other child called him on it. The other opponent called him on it. Because he already played the Lysander, so you can't Sycamore out. These are the great times during the league plays are great times to make these type of mistakes so that when you go into the tournament play that you don't make these mistakes. So it looks like what's going on here? Oh, he's gonna retreat back into the Giritinia. Wasn't sure what card he played to retreat back. It looked like he attached a DDE and then retreat back. So and then he's gonna take the Shaman, and I think that that's gonna be end game right there. He should take his prize cards, and that should be end. I don't think they realize that it's end game. Yeah, oh, they do. Okay, there it is. Those prize cards. So again, there's different styles of play based off the decks that you are playing. You don't play your deck the same way with every deck you're playing against. There's actually different ways to play your deck based off of what the opponent's playing. And at a young age, it's harder to learn that you have to play differently in order to utilize your deck to the max of its abilities. Well, thanks for tuning in and thanks for coming to check out this game. I think it was great, played by two great competitors. I think the Giritinia build was a great build. I really like that Leauge in there. I thought that Leauge was a great idea. I really like how he played it, and he saw the Megas come out. He went ahead for the Giritinia. I think that that was a great move. All right, thanks for tuning in to Raising Ash. You guys have a great one out there. Raising Ash out.